Join me as I take on the challenge of opening up about my mental health journey and breaking down the stigma that keeps so many of us silent. My name is Chris, and I've struggled with mental health for as long as I can remember. From anxiety to depression, I've faced my fair share of dark days and sleepless nights. But what I've come to realize is that the hardest part of my journey wasn't the illness itself, but the stigma that came with it. Growing up, I was always told to toughen up and get over it. I was made to believe that my struggles were somehow less valid because they were in my mind, not my body. I felt like I was walking on eggshells, never knowing when someone would judge me or think I was weak. The fear of being labeled crazy or broken was suffocating, and it took a toll on my self-esteem and confidence. I began to believe that I was indeed broken, that I was somehow flawed and defective. As a result, I withdrew from the world, afraid to open up about my struggles for fear of being rejected or ostracized. I felt like I was living in the shadows, hiding behind a mask of perfection and pretending that everything was okay, when in reality, it was far from it. The stigma surrounding mental health made me feel like I was alone, like I was the only one who was struggling. And that was perhaps the most isolating feeling of all. But the stigma didn't just affect me, it affected those around me as well. My friends and family didn't know how to react or what to say, so they often ended up saying nothing at all. The silence was deafening, and it only made me feel more ashamed and embarrassed about my struggles. One of the most pivotal moments in my journey was when I realized that I wasn't alone. I started reading stories and watching videos of people who were brave enough to share their own struggles, and it changed everything for me. I realized that I wasn't weak or flawed, I was human, and being human means being imperfect. I began to see that my struggles were not something to be ashamed of, but something to be proud of. That's when I decided to take a stand and confront the stigma head-on. I started talking to my friends and family about my struggles, and to my surprise, they were supportive and understanding. They didn't judge me or think I was weak. Instead, they listened and offered words of encouragement. And as I continued to open up, I found that the weight of the stigma began to lift. I felt lighter, freer, and more authentic than I had in years. The moment of truth came when I realized that I didn't have to hide anymore. I didn't have to put on a mask or pretend to be someone I wasn't. I could be myself, flaws and all, and still be loved and accepted. That was the most liberating feeling I've ever experienced. Looking back on my journey, I've learned that the biggest obstacle to overcoming mental health stigma is ourselves. We're often our own worst enemies, believing that we're broken or flawed because of our struggles. But the truth is, our struggles make us stronger, wiser, and more resilient. They make us human. So let's break free from the chains of stigma and embrace our imperfections. Let's celebrate our struggles and the strength it takes to overcome them. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video has inspired you to start your own journey towards self-acceptance. If you have a story to share, please leave it in the comments below. And if you want to watch more videos on mental health, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.